Hey, what's up, guys? Mike Red Fox. Welcome to episode 7 of Mining Roundtable, where we discuss cryptocurrency mining and cryptocurrency in general. I'm joined here by the Hobbyist Miner and none other than ChumpChangeXD. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? ChumpChange, why don't we start with you, man? How you been? I
Good,
see your
man.
beautiful half face if you're
Yeah.
watching on YouTube, so looking real good, man. So what's up?
Same stuff, man. Same stuff. Decided to do a half face reveal this week, so that's that's on the channel now. But yeah, nothing else, man. Just hanging out. Got a new 3050, or it might look backwards to you guys, but it's a 3050.
Nice.
Yeah, no, not nice. It's way too expensive. It's like,
Zotac.
I don't even want to open it. I want to return it. So like I had my guy go to Micro Center to I was like, hey, just stop by on the way home from work to see if they have one for chance. And he's like, yeah, they have one. It says the OC edition. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. He's like,
Yeah.
all right, like, what is it, Zotac? He was like, yeah. I'm like, damn it, $420. I'm like, no.
Oh my
So,
god.
Two things
Oh.
here. Two things here. First of all, ChumpChange pays people to get his GPUs for him, just so
It's
you guys
easy.
know that. And then of course it's Zotac because he's #1 fan of Zotac.
Oh. hey, someone has to be. I guess it'll be me. What about you, Hobbyist? What have you been up to?
So I did a live stream for the first time last night in a long time. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot more work than I ever expected. But it turned out good. Excuse me. Only one technical issue, which was really weird with my mic, but I fixed
That
it.
was weird.
It was odd
It was
because like
weird.
all of a sudden everybody was like, it sounds like rain or something, and I'm like, my mic's dead. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll grab the other one because I have the wireless Go 2. Grab the
Yeah.
other one, same thing. So I'm like, what is going on? So I just have the receiver USB plugged into my PC, and I'm like, let's just unplug it and plug it back in. And I did that, and it was fine. So I was like, all right, cool. What if that's the worst thing? Whatever, it was like a 3-minute deal, but no, it was fun. I give you guys a lot of credit for the fact of you guys doing a lot of live streams versus what I do. That was my 4th one ever on this YouTube channel. So yeah, it was a good time. It was fun. I went much longer than I wanted. I only wanted to go an hour. I went 2 hours.
2 hours, right? Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was like I had a vision for what I wanted it to look like, and I was telling ChumpChange that
That's
like
your first
I had
mistake.
I had like an hour and 10. I had an hour and 10 minutes before because I actually forgot like that I had a prior commitment to take my son somewhere. So I literally had an hour before I needed to take him. So I'm like literally turning this place upside down. It's still a mess out here because I just like took everything. I just pushed it out of this room, and then I laid it out the best I could. And then I'm like, oh my god, I need this wire. That's in my garage in this box under this pile. So I like put it all together, and
By the time you were done, you boxed yourself into a corner.
oh my gosh, I couldn't even get out of there. I was telling on the live stream, I stepped out and completely destroyed my mouse. The USB cable literally bent and ripped out the pins, and I'm like, well, and I had the what was it? I forget the name of the mouse. And a Glorious IO. It was a Glorious IO mouse, and completely destroyed that. Threw that in the trash. You can't even fix it. I'm using a $1.99 Microsoft mouse right now. But it was good. It was a lot of fun. I'm feeling like I might do that about once a month now. I don't want to do it all the time. It definitely takes away. Like I spent so much time prepping for it yesterday, and then there wasn't any way I was getting a video out today. So I was like, you know what? This is it. Here's your content, everybody. And that actually worked out nicely because it was really late for like EU people. So getting up this morning, I still had a decent amount of viewership on that video based off of just a live stream today. But now I feel lost. Like I'm like, all right, it's Thursday. I'm going into Friday. I kind of lost 2 days of it. So yeah, that's what's been new with me. Something different, something fun. What about you, Red Fox?
I won the new egg shuffle, so I was pumped on that. I think I told you guys that. So
That wasn't today's, that was yesterday's, right?
yeah, a couple days ago. It was 3090 combo.
Woo!
So
Oh, nice. What'd you get with it?
some motherboard. I don't know. It's just gonna sit on the shelf with my other combo
It was a
motherboards
B5
and
What
power
are the other
supply.
30?
B550M is what he got, and I messaged him. I was like, "That's garbage."
I have like 4 of those, and
Dude,
they don't stop coming. Like, just stop sending B450s, please.
Yeah, man, but I was pumped on that. No luck today for the 3050 though.
Yeah.
I wanted to get one, but I'm sure you guys saw the Dizzy mining video on
Yeah.
I
the
got one for sale if you'd like.
Yeah,
It's-
dude, I was disappointed because
$249.
Yeah.
I knew obviously we knew it was gonna be trash on ETH,
Yeah.
but I had a little bit of hope for Raven coin and stuff. But
Yeah.
at least in his video, I think it was doing like 14 mega hash, but still pulling like, I don't know, 80, 90 watts or something like that.
For Ravencoin, yeah, and Flux was down there. It was 21 for Flux at like something really stupid, like 42 or something like that. Like, yeah, the altcoins I was hoping for, which kudos to him if he listens. Like, it was so cool to have that up and so quickly and to see that and just get some initial numbers was really cool to see. But I was super disappointed as well.
Yeah, but I'm also interested too because I remember. I mean, he's the man, in my opinion, for what he does for all of us, getting those early things out there. But there's definitely times that I've tested cards and can get it to do more than he's able to get it to do. So I'm still a little curious because I thought it would do really similar, at least to the 6600 on Raven and stuff. But the 6600 blows it away in performance, which I was really surprised about. I was thinking of Chump Change because remember I was telling you guys that that Zotac 3070 Ti just like completely dropped out from my 6-card rig, and I haven't had a chance to go look at it. So I went and looked at it. It's not even lit up. It's just
oh no!
I just looked at it and I was like, "You're not even lighting up, buddy. I'm gonna save you for another day."
Get that one drop of oil just coming out of the fan.
Yeah, it's crying.
Oh man, that's terrible. That's terrible.
So I asked for some help in my Discord for some things for us to discuss tonight.
Nice.
And one of the top voted topics that I think we should discuss early on is ChumpChangeXD's eyebrows. It said so. I figured we get that one out of the way.
All right. So how do you handle those eyebrows?
Nice.
Oh,
I think they look amazing.
You gotta give them this once in a while, you know.
That's
funny. So some guy, right, when I was at I think I was like 18, right? I just started doing plumbing construction, and construction workers are like just so rough on the edges, not even funny. So I'm like working, and this dude comes over to me. He's like, "Do you do your eyebrows?" And he's like looking at me. I'm like, "No, I don't do my eyebrows." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "There's no way you don't." He like fought with me about me doing my own eyebrows for like a half hour. I'm like, "Will you get away from me?" I'm like, "What is wrong with you?" But yeah, he's like, "They're like perfectly angled." I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't do my eyebrows. What the hell is wrong with you?
That's awesome.
Mike,
thank you for bringing that up, Red Fox.
That's
great.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Next thing we got a request for, and we got a bunch, so I don't know if we'll get through all of them. We can obviously see where we go here, but I think we all pretty much just posted videos this last week acknowledging the drop in mining profits and some of the things we're thinking about. And so it seems like that conversation between all our channels was really, really well received. And we wanted to know if we want to expand on anything we maybe talked about, any more advice that we have for miners out there, specifically around bear markets, which I don't think either of you two have been a part of a bear market. Obviously, you understand what it is and what happens, but Chump Change, you want to start? Any other thoughts or advice? Thinking ahead, if we go to like a time of low profitability, do we sell? Do we not sell? Like, what's your strategy? What do you think about? What advice would you have for anybody who's maybe concerned right now?
So what I personally think of is where you don't have to sell your GPUs, all right? Let's just put it that way. Like, you can shut them off. And if you're going to panic sell out of a bear market that is most likely going to bounce back, because it's been proven time and time again that it usually bounces back, you're just going to, like, in the long run, you're losing money because you bought these GPUs for a high price, okay? Even if you don't run them, like, you could still potentially sell them for the same amount of money you bought them for in a year or two. I mean, look at older cards, RX 580s that were going for like $500 or something crazy at the height of the market. It's just, I don't know. I would not panic sell. That's just my take on that. I'll just shut my rigs off. If I can't afford to run them, I'm just going to shut them off, and I'll run like one or two and spec mine. You know what I mean? That's really all you can do. What about you, Hobbyist? You got any plans you're thinking of?
Yeah, so it's so interesting. So like I think all three of us have chatted with people over the last few weeks now, and I've come across a lot of different situations. Some people where it's like my electricity crosses through the roof, like I'm not profitable right now, and it's like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. And then I've had other people that are selling their equipment because they have credit card debt they have to pay because they spent, they bought rigs on credit cards or on loans, which is like pure insanity to me. It's like that is definitely that FOMO feeling that like people would go into debt to be part of something that they think is going to take off, and then it doesn't go the direction you go, and it's just that makes me squirm a little bit.
It does,
but yeah, I mean it's interesting. So as you talked about, like part of our first bear market, and I've had many people that are like, this isn't a bear market or whatever, and I'm like, listen, we're at 50%. Or just about 50% of the Bitcoin high this year was 67,000 something change. It's like 33.5 is 50%. If your largest coin like Bitcoin cuts in half, that's considered a bear market. Like everything I've read, everything I've looked at, it's considered a bear market. Now, I totally understand, and I'm going into this with the expectation of this bear market will not be like the previous. Because in my eyes, and maybe I'm entirely wrong, crypto is more mainstream than what it was. So there's, it's more of an everyday name and household, at least from what I'm hearing. So is it going to be down to the point? I don't think it will. I don't think it's going to drop another 50%. But I'm no expert. First time around, I'm the newbie in that regard. But as of right now, I think there's a lot of opportunity. And that's what I think I try to push to other community members is this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to clean GPUs. It's an opportunity to buy more efficient GPUs, to sell your less efficient GPUs. It's your opportunity to mine into or look into other coins to get into that you wouldn't have taken that risk previously, but now you can. So I'm trying to look at the optimistic side of it versus the kind of pessimistic negative side of it. What about you, Red Fox? Where's your head at?
I was just thinking about what you said there. So I'm trying to do the math on it real quick, but I messed up. But so last time we went from
that's a good point looking that up.
$20,000 Bitcoin to $3,500 Bitcoin.
So well more than 50%.
Yeah. So that was I mean, every coin was down over 90% from its high in the bull.
And when were we looking at here? You were looking at 2018.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we spiked 20K. Ethereum 14. Ethereum went to $85 from 1,400. Bitcoin went from 20,000 down to like around 35.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. Yep.
Yeah.
So you're significantly more. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, the thing that's funny, and it's I love hearing your guys' perspectives on this, is because it's the same thing people said before. It was just Bitcoin. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin. Yeah. Bitcoin is a household name. It's got regulations around it now, so it's going to protect it. And it's like, well, we're down 90%. So what are we going to do now, guys?
Yeah, right.
But I still fall into that too, because it's looking at the space. I feel like with every cycle, the space then grows again, and you have like an arena named after crypto.com. You have these big places involved in Bitcoin, like you've never had before. But even back then, it didn't stop it. So I'm really curious about what's going to happen. I do agree that selling your GPUs, if you can financially hold on to your GPUs, don't sell them.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't overextend and extend yourself. None of us have ever recommended you do that, but FOMO is real, like Hobbyist said. But I think one thing I learned from last time is holding on to GPUs was a really smart decision for anybody that did it. And then you were up and running so fast again, and you accumulated all this coin the whole time if you could keep your rigs running and not mine at a loss. So the big wrench in the whole thing now is, obviously you guys know, is what the heck's going to happen with ETH going away. That's the big question mark, because that's different than before. Before ETH was around, you can mine it the whole time. It was the top GPU mined coin, even in the bear market, even in the last bull run. That same thing's true in this bull run, and then that is just going to be out of the equation completely. So that's the big unknown for me, is you take the biggest GPU mined cryptocurrency out, then what?
You know what I'm just thinking now, though? So, I mean, it could be a good opportunity for us as well. So like if say everything becomes like unprofitable, right? And Ethereum, goes away and now ETC is at like nothing because the market's down. When all the miners or a bunch of miners come off the network, that coin essentially usually becomes more valuable. So it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. I mean, it's so up in the air. Just nobody knows. Like that's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I think
Where
that's
my
one
mind-
thing- Go ahead,
I was gonna say where my mind goes a little bit is like, okay, we are where we are now. Let's say we're at the low of the low right now, which is probably not entirely true. Probably is going to get worse, but let's just base it off of where we are now, and this continues for months and months. Based off of everything we've heard, they're looking at like a June, July original date. Who knows if they'll stick to it? That there is very little evidence to show that they will be able to stick to it based off their track record. But let's say they do. So now you have an industry that's been at this low, and now we hit a point where like ETH 2.0 hits. It's like I feel like that's going to even crunch it even more to be even lower. Like that's going to be a huge time of uncertainty. That week of, I feel like it's going to be a huge period of uncertainty and like, oh, where do I pivot to? So that's where I'm curious if we're at least going to have a peak between now and then, or if it's just going to be kind of plateaued out.
I was crazy to see that there's already people. They're writing in my comments of the video I released today. They had to turn off their rigs. They're paying 50 cents per kilowatt hour.
That's insane.
I was like, oh my! There's multiple people. One was like 52 cents. One was like their price just went up to 50 cents, and I was like, yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, you definitely gotta probably turn those off.
Yeah.
But what happened?
Wow.
I mean, what'll happen? Because what happened last time is it's kind of like the weird equilibrium is people have to turn off their rigs because their electric costs, and then it's just you kind of watch it happen, and it's like how low does it go? So now the 30-cent people got to turn off, and the 20-cent people got to turn off, and last time it got to like the 9-10 cent kilowatt was just break even for like the most efficient GPUs at the time.
Right.
But then you also track Bitcoin miners, and this is it's really interesting. Is a lot of the stuff like spreadsheets that people were putting together is like, what price could Bitcoin go to? Like, where would it have to stop? Considering ASIC miners, and they're paying like 5 cent, 4 or 5 cent per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
And like it never went below that point. Like they did the math on it, and it never went below that. And I was just like, that's really interesting that when you think about those big ASIC farms, they're all paying around the same electric cost. They're paying like 4 or 5, maybe 6 cents per kilowatt hour, where GPU miners pay such a wide range. Whereas like ASICs just stayed good because it just didn't go below that threshold. But GPU miners just got phased out until it got to like 9 cents, 10 cents, I think is where it hit last time. So if you can shop for cheaper power, there's some advice. Figure that out.
Yep.
All right.
I get that all the time. People questioning me. I mean, I'm on my 4th month of $300 electric bill. And it's worked out very well in that regard. It was actually interesting. You were talking about some of these like enterprise ASIC farms. I was listening to Bitsby Trip, and I had a really good video on speculation on the Intel ASICs. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about them.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really interesting to see where his head goes. And also it was just like so much knowledge that I was like, damn, like, gosh, this guy always impresses me. But he was talking about how most large ASIC farms pay for a flat fee. So it's like X amount of power, whatever megawatts, whatever they're paying for. So whether they use it or don't, they pay a flat fee per month. So that it's like, this is what we're using type of deal. And this is what they've been handed. So it's really curious on like that. So I think that lines up a lot with what like you're saying, Red Fox, where like as we start to get into periods like now, their electricity cost doesn't change. It's just their profit margin changes because their profit decreases, but their costs and expenses stay the same. So it makes operating much easier because of the way that operates.
Yeah,
Right, that's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, ChumpChange. You got something else?
No, that's just nuts that he has a flat rate like that. Like that's wild.
Yeah.
No wonder he's going to like ASICs and stuff, because He was.
Well, I don't know that he's at that. I'm just saying that he was talking about some of these big ASIC farms.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
said he was in the
No, I'm
process of
sorry.
getting that. I'm like, that's crazy.
No,
That's
the big
amazing.
ASIC farms out there, like they go ahead and pay for that big
I
flat
got you.
fee.
I got
But
you.
yeah, so I think it's awesome though that like Intel's coming out with something. I mean, it sounds like it's supposed to be significantly less, almost like a smaller ASIC overall, with like the power consumption and with the hash rate it's putting out. But I like the fact of competition, like more diversity in space. I think is phenomenal. Like that's awesome to see.
I really enjoyed his take on all of this, things I would never think about because there's so many, all the ASIC farms are built for certain form factor ASICs, you know, the S19s and the Watts miners or whatever they're called. And it's just like, Intel's kind of got to, like, are they just going to conform to that form factor? So it's an easy swap out because it's looking like their design is going to be more efficient, but do they want to, you know, put more chips on a board and create a bigger ASIC or stick to that same form factor? It's just really, I mean, that dude, Bisbee Trippin is my hero. That's the end of that. That dude is so smart. But I never like thought about a lot of that stuff. Is like, is Intel taking into account designing their product based on the current form factors of other ASICs and how the ease of swapping them out on these farms that have, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. So it's really, really interesting. So thinking about bear market, where we're at profitability wise. One of the other questions that came up in my Discord, and ChumpChange, I'll throw this to you on first, is considering all of that, are you looking to add any more GPUs right now? And are there specific ones besides your Zotac 3050 that you are looking to add?
I just got word that my A2000s are probably coming in soon. So that's something. But other than that, no. I didn't even plan on buying this. I was just like, dang, it came out today and nobody can get one. So let me just see for the chance I can get one. And the unfortunate chance happened. I mean, it's cool for like content and stuff to get the numbers out and like actually test it myself. But I'm not looking forward to like a $420 card that's worse than, you know, the 580 or a 470 or something crazy. You know, it's just, it's nuts. I don't know.
Yeah, you're definitely in the place like myself with the 6500. I bought that the other day and totally it's still sitting in the box. But yeah, so I've been actually like buying up GPUs, but most of my focus has been 6600s. I mean, every time Red Fox is like, give me one, I'm just buy. The 6600 XTs, and then the 3060s and the 3060 Ti's, like on the NVIDIA side. And then outside of that, I was just saying before the stream here that I just picked up a 1660 Ti. So like I'm focusing on efficiency. I'm not looking at 580s.
Finally, he's listening.
Hey, I grow. I'm getting there. You know. Thanks, Dad. So like for me right now, like I've been really playing the game on Facebook Marketplace with like Facebook Marketplace in my area has had a lot of cards injected into it. So a lot of 1660 Ti's, a lot of 1660 Supers. I came across some 1070 Ti's today, so 2060 Supers. And I'm just coming in and just like, there was a 2060 Super that was listed for $635. And I literally approached them today. And my mentality was, hey, I can offer you 300. I know this is a low blow. But good luck with your sale. And if things don't work out, hit me up. The guy responds back and goes, hey, if I don't sell it by Saturday, it's yours. Well, more than 50% of half of that. So I've been playing that game. The 1660 Ti I bought today was listed at $410. I messaged the guy yesterday morning, said, hey, I'll give you same exact message, $300. Let me know if it works out. He messages me today. Hey, is that offer still good? Yep. Great. I'll meet you. I'll sell it. So it's like, all right, cool. So that's the game I'm playing. So I'm looking at like 1070s, 2060 Supers for Flux, and I'm looking to beef up kind of the Ethereum side of things with the 1660s and stuff. So just like I said in my mining strategy video, I am taking like right now looking to double my farm size, but doing it a little smarter this time around. So yeah, it's been fun.
It's actually a good idea. It's a very good idea.
I see a grin over on that face over there. I see it. I see it.
It is.
Dude. Well, another question just came in from the Discord.
Uh-oh.
And it's we need an update on when Ravencoin Light, otherwise known as Avian, is gonna moon, so we know when to order the crypto Lambos.
What is that at right now?
That's that one killed me.
Dude, I still haven't even converted my wallet. I still need to do that, and I'm like, it's probably super easy. I just haven't done it. I'm like, I just don't care. Is it even worth anything? Is it worth anything?
I'm trying to look it up. Hang with me here. 0.00073.
That's more than a Shiba, right?
What was its all-time high?
All right, I'm looking right now. All-time high 0.0012. Right now we're at more
than Shiba. At least it's something. It's better than nothing.
I found it on livecoinwatch.com. Not sponsored.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, but it's actually a nice, eye-appealing site. Actually, is what it looks like. So let's see. If I do 1,000 Avian, that's worth 37 cents.
Whoa.
Are you mining that right now, Hobbyist?
No, I haven't mined that in a long time. I think I mined it when it first came out again, Avian, for a very short time, and then ASICs got on the network. I know that was Ravencoin Light. So I haven't really. So I think I'm carrying 17,000 Avian over from Ravencoin Light, which is worth $6.33. Woo!
Whoa.
Hopefully it blows up, man.
My Lambo's blue, by the way. Just putting it out there.
Oh, mine's lime green for sure. Or neon green. You sick.
Oh my god.
I just hate these coins that are like desktop wallets. Like, why can't they get onto an app? Like, I don't know.
I know. Dude, I don't even mess with any of that stuff anymore. I used to have so many and just different desktop wallets around.
Dude, I have some, but like nothing is worth anything.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think the only one I have that's still a desktop wallet is Monero, and that's like worth something. But other than that, like all that stuff is junk.
Well, I mean, this is what happened when people lost all the Bitcoin. It's just like we're like, oh, whatever, we don't care. And then 10 years later, like, damn, I threw that computer out.
I want to move mine over to a VM on like I have an Unraid server, so I want to stand up like a VM on there and just throw it on there, and then it's at least like off of any of desktops or anything like that, and just leave it on there. Just as a kind of like, oh, good, it's out of the way and it can sit there for 10 years. I don't care.
Right.
Here's something that I was talking on a Discord chat last night.
Okay.
Voice chat with this group, and somebody they mined Ethereum for a while, and they had 19 in a wallet, and they forgot the password for it. And it's been 2 years, and they've been using like a password cracker like that just keeps trying brute force, and still nothing. And they were like, do you have any advice? And I was like, no.
Keep on rolling. Let it run.
Keep going.
Just let it run. Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, and then I was thinking of those stories of people who like threw out laptops with Bitcoin on it and are like looking through landfills and stuff.
Yeah, I heard about that. That one guy is looking for a USB drive in a landfill.
Millions of dollars. That guy is the biggest dumbass I've ever heard of. I was like, there is not a chance on the planet this thing's going to work, even if you find it. It's not going to work.
Yeah, man.
There's no way.
There was that other one, I think, in the beginning of this bull run. What was the story? It was they had it was on like an external drive, their Bitcoin wallet, and it was like worth a ton of money, and they were using some type of security on it where they couldn't remember the password, and they only had so many attempts. Yeah,
and they wanted to hire some white hat hackers to figure out a way around it.
And then after the last attempt, that was it. It was locked forever, and there's nothing you could do about it. And I was like, oh my God, I think
it was like $11 million or something like that.
You would just have to. I would have to go to an insane asylum and just lock me in there. I just don't know what I would do. I could never get to the like last try and get to zero. I don't think I would just always leave it with one open. I would do hypnotism. I would try everything to try to remember what that password was.
So this is a great segue into recommendations to people of with your keys. You should have a paper copy and you should have a digital copy. And you always want to have them and the best you can. It was actually
You
I
want to
was
get a
listening-
stainless steel or titanium
There you go.
wallet. They're like $40.
Yeah.
You can buy one. That's all you need.
I don't know if you guys ever heard with some of the story with the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah, Winklevoss.
They
Yep.
went ahead and actually took their keys to their Bitcoin wallets when they bought them super early on, and they spread them out between multiple locations in different safes to make, because they were afraid of getting robbed for them and stuff. And they actually were able to like think about it. If you had your keys separated in like 20 different places, how stressful would it be to be like, okay, I know where all of them are and I can
Yep.
recover all of them? Like, holy cow, that would be
Yeah,
insane.
they did. If I remember, the safety deposit boxes at banks.
Yep.
In different states all across the United States, like
Yep.
they split the key up, and they would have to go and put it all together.
Yeah,
Man.
it's genius.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
crazy.
Yeah, I listened to the story behind that. It was either American Scandal was the podcast, or Business Wars. I think it was American Scandal, and they talked about the entire story of Bitcoin from like Mt. Gox to Silk Road, all the way through to like, and then those guys and how they got into like Gemini, and they were turned down left and right to be involved in different investment groups and VAs or VCs, and it was really interesting. It was really cool. So if everyone ever is like big into podcasts, look that up. There's like a 6-part series on cryptocurrency, and I learned a ton from it.
On that same note, actually, a really related question got asked, and I'll throw this to Chump Change first. Is thinking if something ever happened to you, God forbid, or any of us, what have you done to make sure your significant other or your loved ones are able to access your wallets if something ever happened to you? Do you ever sit down, pocket change, and say, this is how you do it?
Yeah, so I have like one spot where, most of my things are that are super important, and there's another spot where she can find out how to get into there. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much how I kind of roll with it. But I've shown her my crypto, book. It's like a little black book that I write all my stuff in, and I have like a titanium wallet with my seed phrases locked up in a fireproof safe. They can't get out. Like no one's lifting that thing to get it out of here. I can tell you that. So
Like I said, they can't get out. They can't get out.
But if the house burns down or something happens, it's safe, and she knows where to look if something was to happen to me. So it's a good point. You should always make sure you have a backup plan, because life's unpredictable. It's you could be here today and not tomorrow. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. You always have to prepare. Like today's your last day. You know what I mean? Like make sure everybody knows, or at least the people you love know, how to get things that you have that may be valuable to them in the future. That's definitely smart. What about you, Hobbyist? Do you have any backup plan, or get your wife into it?
Yeah, so I know it's like morbid to talk about, but I think it's also like smart. About a year ago, 2 years ago, I built they call them a legacy plan. And it's like if something happens to you, like a plan for your spouse type of deal. Put it together without her knowing it and to provide it to her. And it is a gift. You have to think of it that way, of like something happens to you. Here is every bank account, everything you need. And then also like passwords to get into certain programs, passwords to get into websites that have all the passwords in there encrypted, things like that. And so I have that all available and put together, and like I provided that to her in like a folder, and it's available and ready to go. If something happens, if there's a copy in our safe. My parents have one, her parents have one for me. So like if something happens, it's there. So, but about once a year, I try to go over it. So it's like fresh, and this year crypto will be the new fresh thing. Because like crypto has not been present prior to that. And like my wife isn't involved like pocket changes or like Mrs. Red Fox at all. She's not in the scene in any way, shape, or form. So her understanding is very minimal, other than I spend every night working on crypto content, and we get paid X amount per month, and we get to use that as we see fit. So that's kind of where I stand with it. I think it's always smart, especially as it starts to become a more serious hobby. Definitely. What about you, Mike?
One last thing real quick before Mike goes. I want to just add, if you if you have somebody that enjoys crypto mining with you, or if you've connected with somebody, like I have all my stuff, locked up, but if she gets it, she don't know how to use it. And 90% of people don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is the stuff you need, and this is who you need to call. And they will point you in the right direction
Help you out.
to get you to where you need to be. Because if something happened to me and somebody took that from her, they wouldn't be able to figure it out because they don't know who to call. You know what I mean? Like that's just an additional somewhat of a backup plan, just in case. I mean, people rob people, and you never know. You can't trust anybody. That's the biggest thing. Mike, sorry, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, it's all good. I remember it was like when I got my Ledger Nano S, 3 years ago, something like that. And I was just like buying Bitcoin every week and transferring on there. And I just sat my wife right here, and I was like, you need to know how to use this, and you need to know like what the passwords and stuff are. Right. And if you like get stuck anywhere, you could look some stuff up on the internet, but like you need to know how to get into this, because I believe this could be worth a significant amount of money, in the future. And I'm like just staring at her, and like there's veins probably popping out of my like eyes and stuff. I'm like, you need to know about this. She's like, yeah, whatever. It looks like a USB drive. That's cool. She's really good with it. And like that was just like the moment I just sat her down. But the thing I'm thinking about after this question is, like Hobbyist was saying too, is passwords for websites. Yeah, I have stuff on Coinbase. I have stuff maybe on a couple other places. That is more than I've had before, just because mining's been so great. But it's probably time for me to like revisit a little bit of that and make sure she can access all of those things, and probably transfer more stuff to the secure wallet. And then all that stuff for me goes in a safe that's in the basement, bolted to the floor, fireproof, all that. But I think there's something about, we all sound like we take it very seriously, and there's probably a lot of people who got into mining in this last year, in this last 6 months, that maybe aren't taking it that seriously. So any advice you would have to them about some of the things that you've done? A lot of them we've just talked about. Chump Change, you get started.
Spend the money on a Nano X or S or whatever you choose. Just spend the money on a hardware wallet. Like, don't just keep it on your phone and expect your phone to work in 3 days, because if it gets dropped in the pool, it's done. You know what I mean? Like, just definitely spend the money. Because I knew when I started, I was like, I had Coinbase, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to leave my money in there. And then you hear about it getting hacked, and it's like, oh, crap. Like, maybe I should have been smarter about this. And then you sit there and look at the webpage like, oh, it's $100. $100 I don't want to spend on this Nano, S or X or whatever the case may be. It's worth it. Like, just do it. Like, I don't know. Don't go to the bar for a couple of days. Don't go out to dinner for 2 times and you have your ledger. You know what I mean? Just save it somewhere and invest into being smart with your stuff. That's pretty much the only thing I could say about that. Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead, Hobbyist. Sorry.
All right, you're good. So I think it definitely comes down to your mining strategy. We have there's people in our community that mine today and sell it all tomorrow. And it's like, okay, so in your situation, it's a little bit different. Like, you don't need to be doing that. We have some people that are pure hodlers, and like this might apply more to them. I think it really is all based off of individual situations, but I think it is wise when you start. There is no magic number. It's not like, hey, when you start making X per month, you start mining X per month. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with. I mean, some people overboard it, like completely overboard it. But like, I don't think you could go too far. Like, you could have a hardware wallet that you visit once a month. You load it up to or whatever, and then you're going to put it in your safety deposit box that you have it some secure place. Like, whatever it is, whatever makes you comfortable. Honestly, you never know. That's the hard part. You never know.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with Chump Change. I think hardware wallet, Ledger Nano. Just do it, just learn how it works. And that's like one of the best ways you can store your crypto, period.
Right.
I think that's my ultimate recommendation. I mean, even me, I was talking about this last night. As careful as I've been, it wasn't a lot of money, but I had some altcoin I was mining, and I kept it on the exchange, and the exchange got hacked and shut down, and that was it. That was gone. It's gone forever.
That's nice.
Claimed it as a loss, on my
How long ago was
year.
that? Like, what year was that?
That's probably 2019, I would
Oh,
think.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was probably 2019. You know, and it's just like you hear the stories of this happening. You hear it happening when people have Bitcoin,
Yeah.
or like a significant amount of money on an exchange, and they lose it all. For me, this is like an altcoin. I think it was probably a few $100s worth at the time. It's like a
Okay.
bummer. And there's just
Yeah.
like, all right, well, it even happened to me, somebody who's traditionally really, really careful.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of that laziness, especially when you're doing all that spec mining, and if you're doing a trading or selling, you might have coin in a lot of different places. And so that one got me. That one got me. I was like, all right, well, that's enough for that. So
The only thing I would be cautious on for people is like, don't be transferring all over the place all the time. So if you're gonna have a hardware wallet, great, but like, don't mine it today. Transfer it at the end of the week to the wallet, and then every 2 weeks you're transferring it out of the hardware wallet, like because you're just going to accumulate all these fees. And it's like, so like if you're holding on to things, let's say short, midterm, a decent amount of time, it makes sense, or long term. But if you're one of those people that because you have to keep an eye on the fees. You don't see it because you're just transferring it, but you go from one end of the spectrum to another, and you lose a lot of money based off of fees. So maybe accumulate it in that exchange or in that desktop wallet, and then every X amount of time you're transferred over to the hardware wallet or whatever works for you. But just be smart about it and don't do it all the time, because your gut feeling is like, I need to get to my hardware wallet as soon as I can. But it's like, all right, hold the phone. How much are you paying in fees every time you transfer it there?
Right. I think the hobbyist is trying to say, like, you need a savings account and a checking account. Like, use your app on your phone as your checking account to, like, do your stuff with. Like, that's how I pay for the mini Doges or whatever the case may be. And I have a hardware wallet that I don't touch. Only in, that's it. Like, I don't take anything out of it. So just treat it as a savings account. It's the best thing you can do.
It's a really good call, man. I'm thinking I've never transferred anything out of my ledger.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just all
really
just
wow,
all
good
in.
for you.
Yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
all in, and then it just goes in the safe, and I say, see you in a while, and hopefully you'll be worth a lot of money one day.
That's it, man. Treat it like you don't have it, and it doesn't matter, because I mean, it's different for people that are selling, obviously, every day. But if you're not selling every day, definitely recommend getting a hardware wallet, and just, even if it's a piece of what you have, put it in there and just forget about it. The best thing I can give you.
It's a really good call. Next question I thought was actually a really good one. It might make us think a little bit, and we'll start with hobbyists on this one. Is, and although there may not be a lot of people getting into mining right now, the question was, for somebody maybe who is looking to get into mining, can you share some of your perspectives around the amount of like time in maintenance or time? Like you built a rig, and like how much time are you actually spending? You know, I know we're all content creators, but remove that from the equation. Like what can somebody expect as just being a miner for hours in a day or hours in a week, once even a rig is built, to devote to mining? What has been your experience, hobbyist?
That's a great question. I actually find my enjoyment in doing things outside of like content creation with mining, like maintenance or like today I was really focused on the Watchdog within Hive OS. So something you may find in a utopian world, you build the rig, you set it, forget it, you come back a few years later. That'll never happen. Telling you right now, mining rigs are a pain in the ass. So that being said, mining rigs constantly have issues. If it's not fans, like right up ChumpChangeXD Avenue that go out, or all of a sudden, like I was dealing with one today with like a weird error that I was getting that kept crashing the rig when it started mining, like all this types of stuff. It's common. So I would expect that. I would expect it. Not all the time. You just got to tweak it, get it to where it needs to be, and get it back stable again. But yeah, I mean, I talked a lot last night on my stream about the Hive OS Watchdog and how it was just garbage. And I asked people in the community, reach out to me to tell me ways that they have found ways to make it work. And now I found ways to make it work. And now I'm super excited. I went through it like today, and I spent a bunch of time like tweaking all the Watchdogs the way it should be versus the way you think it should be. And there's some bugs in it and stuff like that. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of it. I personally wish I could spend more time on GPU maintenance. There are multiple rigs where like they need to be cleaned out. There are multiple rigs where they need to have thermal paste replaced in them. Some rigs where it's like, I got problem childs that I really should sell off because I spent X amount of time on it. I should just sell it off and cut my losses and purchase a different card for it. So, but that's because of content creation. That's not because like I don't want to. I want to get more involved with it, but I'm just, as you guys know, just so busy with content creation that I can't unfortunately have as much time to do maintenance.
Hey, you
Right.
chump.
Oh, can you repeat the question?
No, just have to go with it.
All right, so it was
No.
about to give pointers, right, to new people. Is that what it was?
No. I'll repeat it because you weren't listening. It's fine.
Oh man, the teacher's upset, guys. The teacher's upset.
He went on a little long. Got me sidetracked.
Yeah, it's those eyebrows getting in the way, right?
That's it, dude. The weighing my brain down. That's it.
So the question was, if you're thinking about your own situation, your own experience, and you're talking to a miner who wants to get in the space, what would you tell them to expect in the amount of time that you would have to devote to like upkeep or just being involved in your mining rig? Say the mining rig's already built. Like, are they spending 8 hours a week involved in this? Is it set it and forget it? Like, what would you tell them to expect based on your own experiences?
Expect to shut it down for the night and go to sleep. Like, seriously, because there's those times where you can't get a rig done, okay? And, you know, the kids just fell asleep and the wife wants to hang out. You know what I mean? Like, but you're down here messing with this rig. It's going to be there tomorrow, man. Like, that's the biggest thing I can give you. Just go spend time with your family, because that's, like, one thing that I personally need to do more. I need to be able to, like, get out of, like, doing whatever I'm doing and go spend time, because it's like, you know, life's too short. So don't kill yourself to like make everything happen tomorrow. But if you enjoy it, like you're still gonna, you know, you're gonna keep at it. So I don't know, that's like the biggest thing I can give you, because it is like, it's very, very consuming of your life. It takes over. You just you get to like the worst part of an addiction, and it's just like you can't leave it alone. So just, I mean, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of effort. You have to watch a lot of videos, ask questions, even if you feel stupid, ask questions. That's why I made Misfit Mining. Feel free to join. I mean, all of us have Discords. Go ask people. That's all you need. What about you?
There's a couple really good points you brought up there. One is like the learning, the continuous learning aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
So you could build that rig and it's mining, but then you go watch one of us do a video, or somebody, you know, one of the other YouTubers do a video on something, and it sparks a thought in your head. And you're like, oh, I got to go tinker or try that thing. Or I want to try this different mining operating system, or I want to rewire my rig. There's just like always something that you could be doing, trying different overclocks. And I think we all do that, you know. And I think the other really good point you made, man, is like it'll be there tomorrow. It's like,
it's hard.
I'm thinking about times that I've come home from work and like my 12 card 3070 rig is down.
Right.
And I'm like, man, that thing's making like $70 a day in profit and it's not working. And like, I could go, and there have been times I went down the basement and I was up till like 2 a.m. trying to figure it out, replacing all the risers, figuring out what card it is, and then just having to call it a night anyway. And it's still going to be there tomorrow. And like, I've definitely learned to deal with that, as right now I have probably 5 cards, maybe 6 cards, you know, in my setup that either the fans are broken on, they're not even on right now, like that Zotac, and there it is. It's been there for 2 weeks. I'll get to it eventually. But there's something to really be said about like pacing yourself out, because you'll always find something to do. Yeah. I really think if you're mining, you're curious, and if you're curious, you're always going to find something to be curious about and try to tinker with. So
good topic.
I think for me right now, like where I would burn all of that midnight oil trying to figure stuff out, now I just kind of let it pile up, and then I will find like a day to maybe spend trying to get through things, or maybe just tackle one thing at a time. But yeah, man, there's definitely, especially when you get up there in GPU count, as you guys know, like something might pop up once a week and you're like, that I should really do that, but
I'll
get to it.
That's the main reason I moved everything from the crypto mining garage, because one night I was there, and I was there for like 6 hours. I couldn't get this friggin' rig to stop messing up, and I couldn't find what it was. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm ripping everything apart. Can't figure it out. It ended up being a freaking driver at the end of the day that I had to like, because I had LHR cards and the old version 13060s on it, and I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why won't this thing hash how it's supposed to? And literally, I ended up looking at the clock, and it's like 8 o'clock at night. It's past dinner time. I'm like an hour from home, or whatever, 45 minutes from home. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, because now my kids are sleeping by the time I get home, and I feel like a jerk because I've been out all day, and I'm like, oh my god, like I can't do this anymore. Like I need to figure it out. So yeah, just there's always tomorrow. Just know that, always tomorrow.
The other thing I was thinking about for all of us, and especially the two of you have been really heavy on this. Hobbyist, you've been heavy on this since you got in, and Chump Change, you've been heavy on it the last month, is like the change of seasons and what that brings for heat management.
Yeah.
Just like brings like a whole nother level of, all right, here's time I got to spend because it's getting hot, it's getting cold. So I think that's another thing that you may not consider at the surface level is like with the change of seasons usually means more attention to your rig and how you want to manage things. And I was watching you, I was catching up on your video, Hobbyist, of your the airflow one, how to cool whatever your silly title was, how to cool your mining room or something like that.
Mining farm cooling solution. Thank you very much.
What a fantastic thumbnail, by the way.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You know what I was wondering about, and I don't know if Chump Change, you've thought about this too, but Hobbyist, I think you probably have the most fans out of all of us. What do you have? 8? Was it 8 fans in that room?
Eight AC Infinity inline fans. Yep.
And I was thinking about that and like how amazing your cooling capacity is in there. And then I was thinking about the market and efficiency and all of that. Have you done the math on like how many watts that's pulling in its entirety? Like
I haven't yet. I've gotten a few questions on it, so it's something I do want to do more. Like it'll be easy for me to put a voltage meter on it and take a look at that and see. I haven't done that yet, but I've had a few comments on my videos asking what that is, and I'll have to measure it at like the top CFM at the 10 speed versus the 1 speed to kind of have a good gauge on what the amount that it does. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Last night I came down to that room, and in that room it was 51 degrees in that room. And I was like, now here's the issue. Everybody might be like, that's awesome for mining, but that temperature is affecting my house. Like it's that cold. I'm in the room right next to it right now. I have a space heater. Like I have a space heater here because in that room it's like 56.
I'll just send you a rig if you're cold, man.
Send him a rig, a broken Zotac fan rig.
I put my little mini Doge miner behind me, a little warmth in the room.
But those are
this
awesome.
Dude he's got his house full of mining rigs and he's cold over here.
I know.
Something is wrong.
But the nice thing is like a room like that. I'm so thankful that I'm finally in an opportunity where it's like, all right, I just take out my phone with that setup and adjust the amount of intake to be, instead of it being a speed of 8 on all my intakes, I drop them to a speed of 6. And now the temperature rises 20 degrees. And it's like that room, I like to have that room sitting at like 85 or 90 during the winter, because then it helps to warm some of the home and the cards are fine. I mean, that air is being recycled so fast in there. At the floor, it's always about 65 when I do that. And then it's about 20 degrees hotter by the time it exits that room. You could just see it with the probes and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, that's, you had made a point about like the seasons. And for me right now, like the winter is awesome, but I'm already thinking spring and summer. And it's like, how do I handle it? How do I handle it? How do I handle it? Because I don't want to be in a situation where all of a sudden spring hits and it's like, God, it's like 70 degrees outside right now and I'm dying. It's like, I don't want to be in that situation.
I don't want to tell you, but we're all going to be in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to be.
Refuse.
But we're
I
gonna
refuse.
My house is going to melt. It's just going to melt.
Your house absolutely is just going to collapse.
That actually, in this room I'm sitting in right now, when I had my 6-card 1070 Ti rig in here, when I first got into mining, and the door closed, small room, windows closed, I had stuff leaning against the paint on the wall. Like, and I went to move it. It was leaning there for like a month. I went to move it, and the paint on the wall had melted around it. It like softened from all the heat. And I was like, oh, this rig needs to go in the basement now. This is not good.
That's crazy.
And then Chump Change, I know on for you, man, I watched your latest video. You got all that cycling right back in your house right now, right?
It's all great.
Into that. Yeah,
so my entire house.
That is so cool, man.
Yeah, it's been comfortable the past couple of days because like it's been 75, I think, in my house, and I have a thermostat at 70, so it still doesn't fire. but
Yeah.
it's not like 80 because it's colder outside now. So it's nice. It's supposed to get snow this weekend. I'm like, yes. And everyone else is like, no. I'm like, I need it. I can't take this 80-degree house anymore.
So ChumpChange, what's your game plan for the summer or spring with your setup now? Because right now you're exhausting a lot of that. You're bringing in outside air and you're exhausting some of it internally and some of it externally. So in your mind, without being able to test it, what is your kind of game plan?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up building some sort of like a intake system behind each rig that's going to have like a kind of like a flared circle, more or less, that's going to just feed right to the back of the rig, each one. So I'm going to have that back pipe coming down with a couple tees, and then it's going to be a manifold where it just tees off to each rig. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the front, so it sucks out everything, more or less, like faster than accumulating in the room. And I'm just going to put like 3 fans in. So yeah,
so you're going to bring in
another hole.
Are you going to bring in the outside air even at like 90 or 100 degrees?
Yeah,
and then
so
just try to recycle it as fast as you can, or what's kind of your thoughts?
Right, yeah. So I'll probably have to put intake fans in and out just to make it go through faster. I don't know if that'll help, actually. I don't know. I got to see. It depends. So when I cut the third hole, I got to cut one into the grow tent because there's only like one on that side, and then the other one's on top. So I'm going to have to get another one from either the side or the top of the tent out that window, and then I'm going to have 3 intakes coming in and 3 going out. You know what I mean? So it's going to be recycling the air as fast as it can, and I think it'll work the way I want it to work. It's just going to be trial and error, I guess, because I'm going to have to build something to shade the window. So if I put like outside over my window well or near the window, whatever, I'm going to be putting some sort of like reflective metal. So it'll keep the heat off that section of the house. So essentially, when it's pulling the air in, it's going to cool before it gets into the window because it's not being beaded on outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like going to be a huge effect, but it will help cool the air before it gets to the intakes. So
got it.
You know,
Red Fox, what about you?
I have no plan. I have no plan. Yeah, what I was thinking about though is when I first started trying to figure out how to get heat encapsulated and sent out, like all there was like, you know, the basic grow tent videos where Panda had just done one. Like anybody else on YouTube, it was like, you know, like a slideshow of pictures and it was terrible or something like that. And it was so basic, and like that basic setup still works, but what I think is so cool now is the both of you have taken it to such the next level that anybody who like searches on YouTube or Google or anything like how to get rid of mining rig heat is going to see these like really advanced setups that you guys have spent so much time investing your money and time into. I was just like thinking about that, how far it's come just in these couple of years with people like you who just are experimenting and trying something different, and how much like everybody else is going to benefit from all of that work. So you may not see it that way, but thank you guys for putting all that work in and trying some different things. People are going to benefit from all of that, like for years and years and years and years. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries at all.
That's pretty much it for this episode. We're just wrapping up an hour. Anything last burning things on your guys' mind that we didn't get to discuss?
I don't think so, man. I really don't.
Cool. All right, well, that's going to wrap us up for this week's episode of Mining Roundtable. Thank you to Hobbyist Miner and ChumpChangeXD for joining. Please check out all of their channels if you haven't already. Check out some of the awesome videos that we mentioned in this Mining Roundtable today. And that's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Please take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next Mining Roundtable. Peace, everybody.
Peace.